Visit us online at burningrubberradio.com for recipes from the NASCAR chef, John Dix, and more great content.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, that dang old internet, man, you just go on there and point and click, 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 click. It's real easy, man.
Now back to more Burning Rubber Radio.
And boy, do we have a Burning Rubber Radio for you today. Trucks, Cup, a little bit of everything today, Andy, including a very blunt...
Yeah, John Dix with us, buddy, over there.
I swear. I was going to say, hey, I was getting to John in just a second. We finally pulled him out from the grill again this week here, folks. But, yeah, we got a little bit of news to cover on from this past weekend here at Kansas Speedway. And Carson Hocevar, Andy, we're going to jump right into it. Carson Hocevar, he did a little Rubbins racing off the wall this weekend to get his win.
Well, he did. Carson Hocevar, of course. Lane Riggs put on one hell of a show at the end of that race. And it really doesn't matter because Lane got disqualified. And that's something I want to talk about, too. If we're going to start off on the trucks, Lane Riggs gets disqualified because NASCAR said the body of his bed and the side of the truck didn't match up perfectly. Well, no shit, man. He hit the wall on the last lap with Carson as they were racing back to the, to the checkers. Yeah, damage sustained is going to cause parts to separate on the truck. So I hope that a Riggs team, they go and they say, no, NASCAR,
they need to appeal that.
Appeal the hell out of it.
Right,
yeah,
because
that was a good finish, man. He was going for it.
I mean, yeah, because I mean, any kind of damage that you sustain to the rear of the truck, everything from the C post all the way back is going to have some kind of an issue.
You ain't kidding, But I do like John. Of course, if you watched the race like I did, you got to see Carson Hocevar tell old Lane Riggs that he was number one when he went across the start-finish line.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh, man. Yeah, you got to love it, man. But, hey, it's good to see our buddy Carson Hocevar doing good and getting a win in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series here this past weekend at Kansas Motor Speedway. And just a quick rundown of the series points because, they're not going to be doing much for at least this next week because it's All-Star Weekend coming up here, boys. So we're going to be looking forward to that. Heimtime still got the top spot. Chandler Smith second. Hemrick third. Tyler Rankin fourth. Top four did not change. Grant Enfinger, Andy, he's made another move up this weekend and up one spot into the top five. Majeski drops 1 to 6th. And then we've got Jake Garcia did not change. Caden Honeycutt is up 1 to 8th. Lane, after the disqualification and hopeful soon to be appeal, is down 1 to 9th. And Ben Rhodes stays stagnant at 10th, and Stuart Friesen in 11th. Another one that we like to talk about here every once in a while, rookie Gio Ruggiero is up 2 spots to 12th this week. And another name that we don't get to talk about very much, Rajah Caruth, is in 13th.
Yeah, and another person that was in the race that ended up finishing second because of Lane's disqualification, William Byron. He ran hard, too, this in the truck race. I was quite impressed with his run.
Well,
yeah, that was cool to see William, step back to the truck series and run a little bit. He's a goodwill man.
Well, that John, you took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, Willie B, he got his start in, simulation racing. So, yeah, exactly. He started in iRacing and made his way all the way up to the top 3 series of NASCAR. So, he's already had somewhat of a quote-unquote experience running trucks, even in his part-time schedule that he runs now with Hendrick in that same series. So, congrats to him.
Actually.
Well, Spire, but he does run some Hendrick equipment from time to time in the truck series.
Well, Spire and Hendrick, they're kind of
a partner type deal, yeah. Kind of a partner type deal here. But I'll tell you what, the one thing I really did want to talk about when it comes to NASCAR this past weekend, Andy, and I saw this on X, so I'm actually going to pull this up here real quick. So there was a notification that came across here. It's like, and this is from Jeff Gluck over at, I forget, it's The Athletic that he reports for. There we go. So in the press room this weekend, or the media center, whatever you want to call it, He's like, we've got a minor hashtag Blunt Larson moment in a response to a question by a reporter named Caleb Vestal. And the question was, after a string of meh races in NASCAR, does Kyle Larson consider Kansas a breath of fresh air? Now, we know Kyle Larson to be, usually very relaxed, very, always, obviously, and you and I, Andy, we've seen it multiple times in the media center where there's a lot of little softball questions that are thrown at drivers.
Mm-hmm.
We're one of the few that actually threw a hardball question at Kyle Larson in Daytona a handful of years ago. And so, and he loved it. Like, you could just see the smile on his face. He's like, oh my God, finally, somebody that cares. But Larson's response here to this one, and this is when you get Kyle Larson in kind of a pissed off mood. He's like, yeah, but then if it's a boring race, everybody is going to complain even more about the cars. And ironically, it did have a small moment where it was boring, but towards the end, watching Kyle Larson take home that W, that puts Blunt Larson even more in a good place.
As the right rear of his car started falling apart, everybody was hitting the wall because they were running low air pressures, trying to get fast, and and another lap, and I don't think Larson would have won that thing.
Probably not.
But he was way out front, but still.
Yeah, very much so. But and I still think about it. I thought about that quote more and more over the weekend, seeing what Larson did at Kansas, and I'm just like, this is what happens when you. It's that old adage, ask stupid questions, get stupid answers.
That's true. And talking about Kyle Larson, you know who had their hands on that car? Our very own Jeremy Taylor.
Uh-huh.
I texted him after the race and congratulated him. And if you could see somebody doing backflips over text, well.
I need to text Jeremy. Yeah, congratulate him.
Oh yeah, he was over the moon, man. And he was really happy about all the Hendricks cars the way they were running. Yeah. Of course, he works on all of those guys. So good job, Jeremy Taylor, buddy. You gotta buy the beers this week.
Well, that is if he comes to Florida. I mean, I guess I could hold him to it here in North Carolina, but that's if I ever get a hold of him. But and actually speaking of this too, Andy, something else that I didn't even realize, because you talk about Larson, if it hadn't been for one more lap, might not have been able to hold on to it. So I did look up the finishing results here real quick too, just to see what that margin of victory was for Larson, and we all saw it. It was very close, very, very close. It was 1/1000th of a second.
What race were you watching?
No, I'm looking here at this news article. Now again, Minister of Misinformation, so if I'm wrong, speedsport.com, you can go blame them.
Race a while back is when he finished that way, Wayne.
Wayne, he did. I think you got to relook at that, man. He kicked the shit out of everybody coming.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going off of what you're telling me here, and then I look at this. And now I'm reading verbatim from how this article is wrote up here. Okay, never mind. Mr. Misinformation was right. It was last year.
I was going to say, that sounds like last year's win.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what?
Smokes.
No, you know what?
Come on, Wayne, your headset's too tight, brother.
Yes, it is.
Oh my God, man. Floyd up the Grove over there shaking his head going, God almighty, this boy.
Hey, you know what? At least I caught myself this time, and Floyd didn't have to.
Yeah, because I was sitting over here looking up. I'm like, wait a second, man. I got to look.
I can feel Andy kicking you under the table there, Wayne.
Yeah, I was going to say, I knew something was hurting down there. But
anyway.
Oh man, but I seen that, and I'm just like that. At first, I read that, and I was like, it didn't make much sense. It really didn't.
Of course.
And
it was 365 days old.
Well, no. So this article, I kid you not, literally has dated May 12th, 2025 on it. So at that point, I'm like, what race were you watching? Because it didn't make sense at first. But hey, everything's right with the world once again here, so we're all good there here. Now, something else, Andy, too, that I want to bring up here, and this was news that was announced over the weekend and last week too, before everything here, is the championship weekend is finally not going to be in Phoenix for the first time in a long time, and that's next year as it heads back to Homestead, Miami Speedway, where I feel it rightfully belongs.
Don't
well,
worry.
I think the article said they're going to change every year, didn't it?
They are. They're going. It's going for Homestead next year, and then I do believe Atlanta's talked about there, and Phoenix is still going to be in the loop. They're going to go to all the fair weather places, but no, folks, Daytona is not going to be considered a championship race. That's already been said,
and that sucks, man. Personally, I think it should be.
I remember back in the day when it was Atlanta. I used to go to it a lot, and I enjoyed that.
But yeah,
heck yeah, that used to be the last race of every season was Atlanta.
But yeah, going back to Andy's point here too for a minute, as a part of the shift, the NASCAR Championship weekend will move to a new rotating model as part of a fan-centric effort. And I love how NASCAR says that, fan-centric effort. There have been so many issues where they cater to one group, forget another one, and they forget their core group of fans a lot of times, the ones that come up with the moonshine running and all of the illegal stuff. And
did y'all notice the grandstands this weekend?
Yeah, they were a little empty this weekend.
And Mother's Day. I mean, come on, guys, Mother's Day.
Exactly.
Running in on Mother's Day.
I don't expect there's if the guys were sitting in the stands, they were a bunch of mothers on Mother's Day.
Yep.
Got to be with your ma if she's here.
Yep, exactly. But a fan-centric effort to ensure that the season's exciting conclusion is a shared event amongst NASCAR's marquee venues and key markets. Similar to other major sports championships, NASCAR will now showcase its championship weekend on this new rotating model to provide greater exposure for its season's finale in multiple markets. But now, they say marquee venues. Again, Daytona would be a marquee venue. I mean, just saying. But further quoted here, just kind of quickly skimming over the article, folks. This is on speedsport.com as well. So if you want to read the article, definitely feel free to head that way. But one of the quotes here, Homestead Miami Speedway has a history of competitive championship racing that will provide nostalgia for veteran drivers and fans and exhilaration for NASCAR's new generation. And this coming from Ben Kennedy. And Ben's right. I mean, it brings back, like you, me, and John, Andy, all three of us, we've been so familiar with Homestead that being the championship race for, what was it, 15, 20 years?
Bunch of time.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it was definitely around for quite some time. Now, I am trying to see if they have announced any of the other tracks that are going to be in that lineup. I know you said Phoenix was one. I would not be surprised if Charlotte actually becomes one of those either. And
that'd be a good idea, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, instead of having the Roval race, have the Coke 600, which is one of your marquee events already on the year, and then have championship weekend at the end of the year. That way the drivers, they're already home.
Right.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. Big thing is, folks, head over to our Facebook page, Burning Rubber Radio. First off, please follow us. We're almost at 7,200 followers, and I'd like to make 10K before the end of the year. But anyway, go over there and tell us what you think.
Exactly, yeah. Facebook.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Let us know what you think about championship weekend moving to a rotating format, because I think it's going to be something pretty cool in the long-term things here. But as we move on here and get ready for this weekend coming up here, folks, man, Andy, God, it's hard to believe Memorial Day weekend is already right around the corner.
Right here, baby.
And so, we're 1 week away, or excuse me, 2 weeks away from Memorial Day weekend here. But this weekend, we've got the All-Star Open at 5:30 on FS1 from North Wilkesboro Speedway. And then later that night, 8 o'clock, baby, it's the All-Star Race on FS1 as well. Why it's not on Fox is beyond me, but we don't make those choices. And then, of course, fast forward to Memorial Day weekend, Andy. Take a wild guess of all networks where the Coke 600 is going to be broadcast on.
Fox.
No.
EW?
Try again.
Oh, hell no. Not CW.
No. Try again.
Hell, I don't know.
Prime Video.
Oh, we're going to have, hey, but Carl Edwards will be in the booth on that one.
Yep, he'll be in the booth for that one. And but I find it a little bit off-putting that they're going to put one of their premier events on Prime Video instead of having it like it's always been on Fox.
Good question. Hell, I don't know, man.
And
That's where it's all going, though. You know, these apps, these TV apps, that's where everything's going to be within 5 years. I don't think network television is going to be really a thing.
Not really much anymore. I mean, you look at networks like Peacock. You know, they've got NBC, USA, TNT. They've got everything kind of all raveled into one as far as that app is concerned. So you can get most everything you want, and even some live video on demand. And I know that's kind of an oxymoron for folks that are listening. But yes, it is live video on demand because they are streaming it live as it's happening, and it's still video on demand because you can still pause the video. So it's an oxymoron, but it works. However, whatever the case might be. But
Like
yeah.
us.
Yeah, like us now.
No, we're not oxymorons yet, but I mean we could
We're just freaking morons.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we're just the latter part.
Andy, you about made me hit that button again, just so you're aware.
Oh, boy.
But either way, here, folks, we've got to get ready to wrap it down for another week here of Burning Rubber on the Monday episode. But we do want to go over the point standings here real quick in the Cup Series, and this one's a good one, Andy. With that extra win this season, Kyle Larson shoots to the top of the championship board. So he is number one overall right now. William Byron drops 1 to 2. Christopher Bell up 3 spots to number 3 this week. Chase Elliott stays stable in 4th. Ryan Blaney up 2 spots to 5th. Tyler Reddick lost 1 down to 6th. Denny Hamlin lost 4 spots this week and down to 7th. Alex Bowman up 2 spots to 8th. Joey Logano stays stable in 9th. And ye old Bubba Wallace drops 2 spots to 10th.
And also, folks, I want to shout out to SeriouslyFastMotorsports.com. Those folks over there partnered up with us here. And I'm supposed to be writing articles over there, and I have been kind of AWOL the last week and a half because of my real job has got me busy as hell, but that's no excuse. I will have an article out at SeriouslyFastMotorsports.com this coming week. And of course, everybody, don't forget we're following Josh White and his trek back to ARCA. He talked about Bristol. Bristol, baby, being his return this year. And I want everyone to head over there and follow Josh White and his Facebook and support him, please. And you going to talk about pillows or anything, Wayne?
Well, I mean, we've got to get ready to go take our naps here in just a little bit. After all, we are getting old.
Oh, I am.
Hey, I resemble that remark.
Oh, yeah.
And but real quick here, folks, two more companies we want to talk about as we get ready to head out for the week here. Got to talk about Drive Refine. Visit driverefine.com today to talk with Joey Coulter and work on your communication level with your crew chief, your crew, your teammates, fans, whatever the case might be. And if it's real or simulation, Joey can do both for you. I mean, God knows he got this guy a top 5 finish in a Mazda MX Cup race on iRacing, which blew my mind. But
No, I was actually in a caddy, but it's all right.
well, yeah, caddy. I know Mazdas are your favorite, but But yeah, he likes squeezing into those Mazda Miatas and zoom, 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 zoom.
Joey Cole, hopefully we're going to have Joey over at the Burning Rubber Radio 500 that I'm trying to put together down at Freedom Factory with Cletus McFarland.
Right.
And all of that stuff. My question is, Wayne, if we squeeze your fat ass into a car, all right, through the window, the only reason, I don't know what we're going to do, because if you go head first, you're going to end up with your head down at the pedals. How the hell are you going to get turned around?
Oh, the look on John's face is just sold it all. It's just like,
I know that thought is.
but
You
either
see
way,
Wayne's fat ass sticking out the window, and we're all like, oh.
you're number one, Andy.
Lord.
But either which way here, folks, visit driverfind.com to get with Joey and work on your communication with your crew, team, fans, whatever the case might be. And just remember, folks, it's not just driver coaching, it's driver fine.
Driver fine.
And then with that here, mypillow.com/BRR. Mega sale going on right now over at the folks over at MyPillow, mypillow.com/BRR, and use the promo code BRR at checkout to get your order delivered for free. And again, the mega sale going on, so they've got high discounts on everything, whether it be my pillows, my towels, my chamois, whatever the case might be. Definitely a thing to look at there. mypillow.com/BRR, and use the promo code BRR at checkout to get your order delivered for free.
Oh, John, what are you going to say?
I got one thing, guys. I want to challenge all our BRR Army out there to find one friend this week to follow us on Facebook. So help us out, guys.
I like it.
Please.
I like it. I
We'll
like
have a
it
lot of
lot.
fun with that.
I like it. I like it a lot. But with that said here, folks, we're going to get out of here for another week of Burning Rubber Radio. For Andy DeLay, for the NASCAR chef, John Dix, I'm producer Wayne, and we'll see you on the other side. Burning Rubber, baby.
Burning rubber, baby.
Andy keeps getting cut off. Woohoo!